Hi guys, how you doing? It's Jim Daly here, Crystal Palace fan, YouTuber, comedian, and host of the 5-Year Plan podcast, which is the Crystal Palace Fans podcast. Pretty much the best one as well. I've been asked to give a few thoughts on Southampton versus Palace, the first game of 2018 down at St Mary's. So let's do it. So, the last time I did a video for you guys, Roy Hodgson had literally just been appointed manager, succeeding Frank de Boer as Palace boss. Frank had lasted just 4 league games, 5 in total. He did actually win one. He won his League Cup game, his League Cup debut against Ipswich, I think it was. James McArthur got a brace. Leaving his win percentage at Palace at 20%, 1 in 5. Not actually that bad, you know, considering he was an unmitigated disaster as Palace boss. Hodgson's first game was against Southampton at home at Selhurst, and we lost 1-0. Stephen Davis got the goal. We didn't play too badly in that game, but you could tell they were a team, Palace were a team, low on confidence, and had zero confidence whatsoever, and Southampton turned up and put in a sort of fairly workman-like performance. Since then, Roy has basically got the confidence back in the Palace team. That's the main thing he's done. They're now playing like a team who knows they're a decent mid-table Premier League team, not a team down the bottom. Frank had completely wiped out all their confidence, as Roy has got them back playing with confidence and back playing more organised, more resolute. I don't know if you saw us against Man City on New Year's Eve, but we were organised, determined, as we were against Arsenal a few days beforehand. And in fact, we weren't just that against Man City, but we pressed on as well. We were confident. We were confident and organised, the two things that Hodgson has done to this team. And we were very unlucky not to win. You know, it would have been City's first defeat of the season. Probably should have been. But Luca somehow missed a penalty. So those are the main things that Roy has done since he's come in. Which, let's face it, given his previous time at Fulham and at West Brom, these are things we sort of expected to happen. So really, since Roy's come in, it's been very consistent, the performances. We haven't been battered by anybody. And we've been organised and confident, so it's pretty much gone as expected. Okay, how important is Zaha to the team, and how do you keep him quiet? He is massively important to Palace. I mean, he is our talisman, not just because of his ability on the ball, when he floats out wide and gets the balls into the box or takes people on. I think that's his main thing. We know what he's going to do. He could get a ball in, he could take you on. He's got it all in his locker. But he's a South London boy. You know, he grew up in the shadow of Selhurst. He loves this club. He came through our academy. I think he joined us when he was 7 or 8. Went to Man United, of course, that's well documented, but that didn't get a chance and then came back. And I think he's one of these players that needs to be at a certain club, needs to be the big fish in the little pond, which he is at Palace, and needs to be somewhere where people get him. How do you stop Zaha? I don't know. In terms of tactics and setting up, I don't think you can. He's got so much ability on the ball, he will beat you however you set up. But I think psychologically you can. You can get in his head a little bit. Again, whether that works, I don't know. Watford tried it this season. You know, a bit of a history between Wilf and Watford. They really hate him for some reason. And in the home game about a month ago, they got in his head and he was awful for about 80 minutes. You know, really terrible. He gave the finger to the away fans and I was like, oh, Wilf, you're not a kid anymore. You're 25. You know, get out your head. And then in the last 5 minutes, he turned it on and set up 2 goals and Palace won 2-1. So, you know, even then, there's no guarantee you'll stop him. But he has been reacting recently in recent weeks to getting kicks, to getting referees not on his side, and that is frustrating for a winger, I get that. But the thing about Wilf is, no matter how hard you try, and certainly this season with Palace pushing, we've scored so many late goals, this team never gives up under Roy. No matter what you do, he'll find a way to come back to you. So, to answer those questions, I don't know, sorry. What sort of Palace team will we see line up against Saints? Well, we put out effectively a second string, well, maybe not full second string, but there were a few replacements for the game against Man City, which makes our performance and our result against them even more impressive. But that was mainly down to injuries. Joel Ward is injured at right back. Obviously, you guys won't be a fan of him being an ex-Pompey boy. James McArthur was injured, Ruben Loftus-Cheek was injured, Bakary Sakho was injured, so there wasn't a lot of options. That's why Roy had to play Jairo Riedewald in midfield against City, who I thought was absolutely unbelievable, and Fossey Mensah at right back also put in a very good performance. So I think we will see probably a similar team to that. McArthur may come back, Ruben Loftus-Cheek may come back. I don't know how bad their injuries are. Bakary Sakho won't start. He's a squad player. He comes off the bench. If he's fit, you might see him in the last 10-15 minutes. But I think we'll probably see the same team. Julian Speroni was replaced, I think, rather harshly in goal for that City game, but you can't argue that Hennessy didn't do anything rather than put in a good display. Made a very good save with his face in the second half. So I think you'll see almost exactly the same team, possibly MacArthur or Loftus-Cheek in for Riedewald in the middle, if they're fit. So my prediction for the match, well, it doesn't feel like Palace ever get anything that much down at St Mary's. We won in the FA Cup there, I know, 2 years ago. But otherwise, we always seem to struggle in the league down at St Mary's. So I expect us to struggle again. Although having said that, you guys are not doing very well at the moment. And I didn't realise you're only 1 point ahead of us in the table. Which either means we've been brilliant since Roy's come in, or you guys have been terrible. Or maybe a little bit of both. So I would expect it to be a close game in that regard, because we have been playing very well recently. The Arsenal defeat 2 games ago was our first in 7 or 8, which was a club record, I believe, in the Premier League for us. And the performances, as I said before, have been pretty consistent under Roy. So we'll go down to St Mary's, we'll be hard to beat, we'll be organised, and we'll be hoping that Wilf and Andros and Benteke will get us something on the counter. But having said that, mentally, I feel like we struggle at St Mary's for some reason. And I think you guys will score. But I think we will as well. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, which I think probably is an okay result for both of us. Kick off, you know, the new year with a point each in what is turning out to be a difficult season for both of us. So I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. I don't think that's unfair. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my thoughts. Thanks very much for having me on the channel. Check out FYP TV. That's the 5-year plan fanzine / podcast YouTube channel where we do reaction and stuff on there. And my own YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/JimDalyComedy, where I do comedy football songs and stuff. So that's it. Thanks very much. Best of luck for the rest of the season, apart from Tuesday night. I'll see you again soon.